Mr. Biden said we killed Ayman al-Zawahiri, the mastermind of 9/11, in Kabul, under the protection of Taliban. Either the United States administration is lying to its people and he didn't exist, he just said we killed someone in Kabul. If he did, it means Taliban are completely integrated and in cooperation with Al-Qaeda, and they need to be held accountable, because it means a breach in the Doha Agreement. Because in Doha Agreement, the Taliban promised to completely disconnect themselves from the rest of terrorist groups. They did not, and that is the proof.
Have you thought about going to the U.S. to personally ask them to stop funding the Taliban?
I don't think they like me to be in the U.S. Otherwise, not to just like ask those questions, but to to let them know how their policies is affecting the people of Afghanistan, and how it is probably it will affect a lot of aspects of people's life in America. You know how 9/11 changed the political, even social landscape of America. Imagine what would happen if something like that would happen again. So therefore, not it will happen, but it is a question that there are a lot of concerns, there are a lot of policies that they're having which will have a huge impact. Forgetting about Afghanistan has always proved to be a wrong decision, but it is happening. To bring that awareness, it's something that needs to be done. But so far, I don't see any interest in accepting me in America and listening to what we have to say.
It's been my understanding that the current administration has kind of blacklisted you from coming, and what a disgrace. But, the U.S. has a long history of lying to its own people and to the rest of the world. And some examples are the funding of the Taliban. Another is Haqqani.
Yes.
And I think maybe another one of the big ones is when we lied and let everybody assume that Hamza bin Laden is dead.
Yeah.
Which it turns out he's not dead. What is he doing in Afghanistan?
Well, one thing is that Al-Qaeda for the past 20 years with their relationship with the Taliban, they complete each other. This is something that might interest the people of America, that Al-Qaeda and Taliban lived so close with each other and so integrated with each other for so long that is almost impossible to differentiate them now. For the past 20 years, there's a lot of weddings and marriages happen within them. Now they turned into a family. How can you break a family apart? It is proven that there has been marriages between them. So that's one aspect. The second aspect, the shared interest. Al-Qaeda helped them intellectually and helped them with experience and knowledge, helped them with the technical aspect of making bombs and expertise, and of course helped them with the presence of the Al-Qaeda fighters. For example, we showed you a video of the Taliban alongside Al-Qaeda fighters attacking Panjshir Valley on August 2021. So they had so many shared experiences that it is impossible to differentiate them now. It's just like how we mix sugar in a water or salt in a water. It's almost impossible if you keep swirling it for 20 years. How will you take the sugar or take the salt out of the water? So that's one aspect of Al-Qaeda. Let's not forget it. The second aspect is, sometimes I hear that they say, Al-Qaeda doesn't exist in Afghanistan. And yet, US fails to ask a very simple question from Taliban. What was Ayman al-Zawahiri do in Kabul? Mr. Biden said we killed Ayman al-Zawahiri, the mastermind of 9/11, in Kabul, under the protection of Taliban. Very well. I have a few questions. What was he doing in Kabul? Ayman al-Zawahiri, the mastermind of 9/11, the leader of Al-Qaeda. Second, how he could be in Kabul without the Taliban knowing about it. Third, how he was shot down and killed. Either the United States administration is lying to its people and he didn't exist, he just said we killed someone in Kabul, or he did. If he did, it means Taliban are completely integrated and in cooperation with Al-Qaeda, and they need to be held accountable because it means a breach in the Doha Agreement. Because in Doha Agreement, the Taliban promised to completely disconnect themselves from the rest of terrorist groups. They did not, and that is the proof. So there's a lot of question in this regard. And the latest gift in this marvelous story is the call of Saif al-Adl, the leader of Al-Qaeda, upon all people to come to Afghanistan for training, for experience, and learning from Taliban, and of course, go back and do the same atrocity.
The U.S. it's getting very hard to find any truth coming out of the current U.S. administration. I mean, even during the withdrawal, I remember right away I believe they claimed to have killed the ISIS fighters that blew up Abbey Gate with a drone strike in a taxi that actually wound up being they just killed a bunch of U.S. aid workers. Yes. I mean, the incompetence is just astounding. But moving on, because we're on a time crunch, I want to talk to you about the continuation of the withdrawal. And there are a lot of veterans, U.S. veterans, who are very involved in extracting our former allies, the resistance. And I would imagine, I understand why they want to leave, so I don't want to say I don't want to come across as not sympathetic. But what I do want to come across and say is the more U.S. veterans get involved in extracting men with warfighting experience that we train that you could be using, the percentage of you coming out on top diminishes. And so what would you like to see happen? Would you like to see veterans, U.S. veterans, continue to extract our former allies? Or would you like that to stop and those fighters start fighting with the NRF?
Well, as you mentioned, first and foremost, it is once again, it proves that the defeat in Afghanistan was political. It was by the politicians. It was not by those who fought in Afghanistan. This is crystal clear now. Well, because of the atrocity that Taliban are committing, how they are very much focused in targeting those who fought against them, it's very difficult for me to say, no, don't evacuate them. Morally, it is wrong because I know in what grave danger they are at. Of course, absolutely, I would rather them to have them in Afghanistan because sooner or later the support will come. Because till Taliban did not change and the terrorist attack only increased. Pakistan, Iran, Russia, United States, you see how it is increasing. Germany. So the support will come, but I hope it's not too little too late, first and foremost. Second, I cannot put myself in a position to decide for those veterans because they are in such a terrifying situation. Constantly, Taliban are looking for them. And unfortunately, one thing happened. that United States and Afghanistan government, they did they took their fingerprints and they saved it all and servers and everything, and they left it all to the Taliban. So now the Taliban, as they have all this sort of they know the scanners and everything.
Biometrics.
Biometrics, exactly. They have in biometrics. And as soon as they put their fingers anywhere, if they enter from any point from Afghanistan, if they from the borders, if they go anywhere inside Afghanistan, as soon as they do the biometric, they will know who was who. Unfortunately, one thing that happened that our international friend and also the Afghanistan government, they didn't have the decency to destroy all those servers and those equipments to make it harder for Taliban to identify those who fought against them. So now, even worse than women of Afghanistan are those who fought against Taliban, those special forces and commandos and Afghan people who were in army, because they have been fingerprinted, like now they know their identity. So now they can't go anywhere, they're imprisoned in their home. As soon as they go anywhere, one fingerprint, they will know who is he, and he disappears. So I cannot put myself in that position. However, the messaging of those veterans are different to you and to me. To United States, because they know they don't have any intention to support them, to help them, and to fight. So their request is, then if you do not have that will, then save me too. But you know what they said to me? They never asked me for evacuation even once. Nobody asked me. Categorically, to whoever I spoke, said, sir, give me equipment, give me gun, give me support. I'll go to the mountain. I'm going to take my revenge. I do not allow this. Because this defeat, it was not militarily. It was political. I didn't lose. They made me lose. This is their message. So, if the world behavior and messaging changes, they do not want to leave Afghanistan. They want to stay and fight. And we have enough credible and talented and experienced and trained personnel to take back Afghanistan and bring back order. However, when they see the messaging of the world is that we don't care, give in to the will of Taliban, now the Taliban are our new besties, then they have no choice to say that at least save us too.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.